Hello and welcome back to Jackknives Reviews. I'm of course your host, Jackknive. Today we'll be looking at the A24 sci-fi comedy, Y2K. On New Year's Eve, 1999, two high school kids, Eli and Danny, try to sneak into a party where Eli's crush Laura happens to be. But when the clock strikes 12, all electronics everywhere become sentient and murderous to everyone. Now they must survive this tech-pocalypse and find a way to shut it down and save the planet. I don't know what exactly was wrong with this movie. It felt like it almost worked. Feels like the pieces are there to make a fun movie, but it felt like it was very disorganized. The movie was written and directed by Kyle Mooney from Saturday Night Live fame, and this is his first ever movie. So I'm trying to go a little more lenient on it, but that being said, it felt like he was a bit more ambitious than what he could execute. Jaden Martell, who many people may know as Bill from the new It movies, plays Eli. He doesn't really bring much to the role. I mean, he doesn't really do much. He's just kind of just some kid who, likes a girl, and we don't really get to know much about him outside of he's just a teenage boy. And I kind of see where they're going with this, where it's like, oh hey, they're trying to be like what if a teen comedy was a sci-fi horror movie? And I'm like, oh, cool. But the problem with that is you need to give us characters that matter. And unfortunately, this movie doesn't really have that. Rachel Ziegler from Snow White infamy plays the love interest girl character. And Julian Dennison, who you probably remember as the kid from Deadpool 2, is the quirky, dorky, funny friend. But like I said, none of the characters hit it right. They don't execute it proper. It feels off. I don't know what it is. Everything is just slightly off. Like, it should work. The concept should get me intrigued. As a person who grew up in the 90s and got to see all these fun little things and these little throwbacks, it really did make me happy to see them. It felt the same way a lot of people did about Ready Player One. It was reference for reference sake rather than progressing a story. Whereas Ready Player One actually did have a good story and actually did have characters that made you care. And there was a world that you could build off of, there's things going on, and there's this, that, and the other thing. Here, it's just, what if Y2K actually happened, and it basically became Maximum Overdrive? That's pretty much it. It is funny to see Fred Durst in this, but at the same time, I'm laughing because I'm now at that point in my life where I'm thinking, when did Fred Durst become popular? Because I know so many people who hated him. I was one of those people. I couldn't stand Fred Durst or Limp Bizkit. And yet all of a sudden there's now this resurgence of liking him. And I don't get it. Like, he was in I Saw the TV Glow. He's in this. I'm like, does he just have a contract with A24? He just makes random cameos? Or I don't know. It's weird. But anyway, back to the movie itself. The practical effects are really well done, but the special effects are really bad. Not Sci-Fi Channel level, but pretty bad. Like, maybe CW level. And with a movie that deals with technology, you really need to have the budget to pull that off. Because if you don't, you probably shouldn't do it at all. Again, it feels like this movie was wrote a check it clearly could never cash. And it had a bad cast, it had bad written characters, a great concept, but that's about it. This is a perfect example of letting things stay in the pot and cook. It felt like I was watching the movie equivalent of Undercooked Chicken. And truth be told, I wanted to like this movie. I mean, like I said, I grew up in the era of the 90s, in the Y2K. I remember the scare of Y2K. In all honesty, if the Y2K bug actually did happen in the modern era, everyone would be screwed because everything runs off technology and everything runs off computers. The other problem is Y2K is so far back that no one outside of guys like me or people of my age demographic or older would even remember half of these nostalgic things in order for you to get an engagement. This isn't like a Stranger Things situation where you're reintroducing vintage things as new so fans can enjoy it. It's literally just, hey guys, remember that back then? Remember that? Remember that? I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of them don't. And so where do we go from here? You know, you're trying too hard. This is the perfect example of trying too hard to be a cult film, too hard to be a fun, quirky, sci-fi, comedy, coming-of-age story. It's trying too much at once. It is a guy who barely knows how to cook entering a cooking competition. And because of that, it doesn't work. And I see why A24 made this, because not all of them can be bangers, but it is an independent movie. And so because of that, I could see why a lot of mainstream companies wouldn't touch this movie. Maybe if he spend a little more time in the writing room, Kyle Mooney can maybe crank out something good down the road. But as far as this movie, it's not good. I give Y2K 2 out of 5. Have you seen Y2K? Let me know in the comments down below. As always, I'll see you next time.